Singing gritty, gravelly, distorted sounds in vocal exercises and from funny sounds that people give you on YouTube is one thing, right? But actually applying this to real vocal lines with words and vowels and registers and range and consonant sounds and onsets, most importantly, this requires a finer touch than just making the funny, gritty, cartoony sound that you're probably doing okay, but then when you apply it in vocal lines, the consonant sounds trip you up or the phrasing trips you up, whatever it is. I've learned the most about singing rock, gritty, gravelly, singing rock and metal stuff. That's obviously where my heart is as a singer. I've learned the most about that from listening to soul singers. Ann Peebles is one of my favorite singers ever. She's seriously one of the best rock singers ever, but she's a soul singer, right? Rock delivery. She sings really freaking high, does it beautifully, but she's so fucking intense and gritty and grindy, and there's such a sass to it and such, I wouldn't say aggression, just intensity to it. The way that she's singing stuff, right? Look at the people! I know you wonder what they're doing. They're just standing there, watching you make a fool of me. Why pity that fool? Right, it's more of a soul delivery, but it's, I mean, that's rock, grit, and gravel right there, right? After learning that and learning to sing like that and spending some time with that, I started to identify it in my favorite rock singers that you would assume would be more aggressive than that. So she's not really trying to be aggressive, right? It's more intense and it's wrenched emotionally and it's you know, that sassy kind of thing, but it's not actually aggressive and punchy on the consonant sound and the onset in the way you would think like an Alice in Chains song would be, right? Going back to listen to Layne Staley, that's also how he sings. I get lots of people bringing in Chester Bennington as well, right? Exactly the same thing. He's ducking a lot of the consonant sounds and he's really working around them, right? So just as an example, I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. This kind of thing, right? That same kind of gritty, gravelly singing. It's basically the same thing. It's a little bit more aggressive, but same thing. If I look at those lyrics there, for example, it doesn't. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I'm not actually singing a D, right? It's not doesn't. It's not pitched. It's t. It doesn't even matter. Even that pitch at the top, right? Let me get a key. See how close I was to that, right? I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Right? I get lots of people bringing in this stuff, and they're trying to do it with a chesty mix. I really fucking hate that term. It's not what these guys are doing. It's not helping you to try and drag up and ring out your chest voice in that way, right? If I take away the grit, right? But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Right? That's a pretty young sound for someone like me with my voice, right? Then we add grit to it. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. So you see underneath that, I'm not actually singing with this chesty, bellowy, belty kind of sound. And neither is someone like Chester Bennington or Layne Staley, right? I think one of the most important things I've learned from, you know, soul singers, and then I've eventually learned to hear in someone like Layne Staley and even Chris Cornell, this kind of stuff, is actually the way that they phrase things in their timing when they're singing with grit and gravel in particular. So you might thinking that I'm going like, you know, but in the end, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, but, and I'm singing. That's totally not how the timing goes, but you get the gist, right? I'm not actually singing the consonant sound on the beat. I'm singing the vowel on the beat. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Same as matter, right? I'm not going 3, 4, meh, and then hitting the onset on that, or the consonant sound on that on the beat. Just a little psychological trick so that you put your energy into the vowel. But in the end, it doesn't even matter, right? And the grindy, gritty sound is generally not from the onset in this singing. A really great exercise is for you to sing a really clean sound. It can be one of these notes, one of these words. Doesn't really matter, right? Go between a clean sound and a gritty sound, right? In the end, right? So you see I can go in and out of the gritty, grindy sound. That's just from practice. There's no special trick to that. That's just taking some time with it, trying to do the vowel in the right way, trying to get the tone right, and learning to manage my grit. It's not a funny sound that I'm making to get that grit to happen necessarily. It's really just accentuating the brightness and adding more pressure to it. It's a little bit of a pressure game. That can be a bad instruction. I generally wouldn't tell someone to say, hey, add more pressure to get grit and gravel. It's required, but really what you want to do is kind of go into the bright sound, right? Now, consonant sounds in general can be challenging. I'm sure you've noticed. You've worked on vowels, you've done ma, ma's, whatever it is, whatever exercises, lip trills, right? But then when you get to songs, there's all these different words, and you've never practiced those words. You've never practiced those consonant sounds. A lot of the time, they get substituted or they become vowelized, right? So just like I was doing there with the word doesn't. I'm not singing d, I'm singing t, t, t. But in the end, it doesn't even, you hear that? T, t, doesn't even matter. That kind of thing. Even the R at the end, that 90s style rolled R, that's a vowel, not a consonant sound. And I'm looking at you Americans out there that really roll all your R's through all the words. It's different in speech to singing. And it's even slightly different to that retroflex R that you guys have in your accent. And there's other accents out there, not just American, but that's just the one that comes to mind. When you sing a consonant sound like R, L, W is another one as well, they become vowelized. Basically, we substitute them. If I want to sing the word red, R-E-D, right? Instead of going red, my voice completely craps out and breaks out, right? What I'm really doing is substituting that consonant sound for a vowel. U, like a French sound, right? U. Red, red. And I'm doing, you notice that's clean? Red. And then we're going into the gritty sound from that. So I'm not going red and trying to punch the consonant sound in that way. Same as W becomes a vowelized consonant sound, right? It basically becomes a vowel. Same as, say I want to sing the word well, W-E-L-L, right? Well, that's not going to work, right? So again, we sing our little V. Well, and then we can get that really gritty, grindy sound, just like a soul singer, just like a rock singer, from managing our consonant sounds and managing our timing and phrasing much better. So if you like really gritty, grindy rock stuff, I'd encourage you to have a listen outside of the context of the stuff you're trying to learn. And you're going to find singers that do the same sound that you want to sing, but outside of context, just like Ann Peebles, who I love, and I love her all her music anyway. But trying to sing like Layne Staley back in the day was a non-event for me. It was just never, ever going to happen until I started looking at different singers and I realized what they were doing outside of context. Bring that over to rock, and then you've got a really sustainable, really comfortable approach to gritty singing. And it doesn't require you to punch the consonant sounds or be aggressive. It's just that intense sound that you're managing in and out with your breathing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk soon.